All right, hey everyone. My name is Khiem from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I work at our Richmond office downtown near Willow Lawn for the Virginia chapter, which covers the whole state, outside the DC area. And I'm here to thank you guys for our upcoming partnership. It actually starts today between Burlington and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So who's ready and excited to kick off the campaign? All right. So it starts today, Sunday, September 9th. And it goes through Saturday, December 1st. So it's a 12-week campaign. I just saw your eyes like light up. It is a long time. It's 3 months, but you guys can make a huge impact during that time. And so it'll be easier as we go through the slides, and you'll have more of a drive, hopefully, to fundraise for us. So first things first, can I take a selfie with you guys? Can I take your photo? Okay. Let's change this here.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if everyone can gather around this way, there's that.
Flash on.
And I have a few posters that everybody can hold up. Okay. And then do you want to get behind them?
Right, mine's
Oh, my bad.
Okay. Oh, I guess I could just hit that button too, but that's okay. I'll do this.
We looking at that. I like
No,
this
look at
one.
me. Look
I
at
like
me.
that
Look
one.
at me.
This
Yeah,
one.
look at me. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And then we switch it. A square one for social media.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Put
All right,
the
ready?
flash on.
Oh, yeah, I can't see.
You can't put flash on?
You want a flash?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't even see up there.
Oh, that's good. That's better. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay.
I want to see my picture.
You need to approve it.
Okay.
I'll show it to you by the
It's okay.
at the end. Okay. All right. So, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is the world's largest health organization. Hi. Come on and join us. You sure did.
Come on, don't stop us.
Say hello to the camera. This is
Missed the
Miss Tiffany and Mr. Charles. All right.
Tiffany?
So, you better be on your best behavior. All right. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is the world's largest health organization dedicated to fighting blood cancers. Our mission is twofold. The first part of our mission is to cure all types of blood cancers, which includes leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and Hodgkin's disease. And the second part of our mission is to improve the quality of life for our patients and their families. So we were founded back in 1949. At a time when if you were diagnosed with blood cancer back then, statistically it was 100% fatal. You had a 0% chance of survival statistically. It is. Fast forward to today, 1.2 million Americans are either in treatment for or in remission from a blood cancer here in America. And the statistics are still pretty staggering. Now, does anyone want to take a guess as to how often someone in America is diagnosed with a blood cancer? Once every how many minutes?
2.
5.
I was gonna say 2.
1 minute.
1. Okay, you're closest. The answer is once every 3 minutes.
Oh,
So you get a prize.
Oh,
You got
thank you.
highlighter, bookmark, wristband, post-its, notepad, cell phone holder, or a cup.
I want this.
The
'Cause I can take this everywhere.
All right.
Thank you.
So once every 3 minutes, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Does anyone want to guess as to how often someone passes away from that diagnosis? Unfortunately,
5 minutes.
Sorry, 5 minutes.
4.
Or you can't guess because you already did.
Okay.
3. Okay. 8. Okay, you were the closest.
I was ready.
Wow.
The answer is once every 10 minutes. So what would you like as a prize?
Oh, Lord. Now I'm like you.
Get that cell phone holder.
That ain't
She
gonna be
love
my
her
phone.
phone.
Oh, yeah, got it.
No, it doesn't hold your. You stick it on the back of your phone. It holds your credit cards.
Oh, no,
Oh.
I don't like that. Give me the
The
highlight.
highlighter. Okay.
Yeah.
Take my credit card.
Yeah, I don't like that.
All right. But in all seriousness, once every 3 minutes someone is diagnosed, once every 10 minutes passes away. So think about it. In a 30-minute time frame, 10 people will have been diagnosed, 3 people will have lost that battle somewhere in America.
That's
So, right. And that's all the time. Daylight, nighttime, those are where the statistics are. Even with all of our advancements, still today, 1/3 of our patients do not survive past 5 years after being diagnosed. But if you look on the flip side, 2/3 of our patients do survive, and that's a great statistic compared to the 0% chance back in the 50s, right?
right.
So what do we do? The money that you raise, where does it go? It basically goes into one of three areas. You've got research, advocacy, and patient services. So advocacy here in the middle is when we lobby at Capitol Hill and at state legislature levels for policy change. In terms of research, this graph here is a representation of all the cancer drugs approved by the FDA since the year 2000, right? So there's not actually this many, but it's a graph that represents it.
Right.
You can see the ones in red were initially approved for blood cancers. So you can see that's a pretty big chunk. That just goes to show you that we don't just help blood cancer patients. A lot of our research and our funding now has led to drugs that help patients of prostate, colon, pancreatic, breast cancer, many other types as well. So know that when you ask for us at the register, it's not just blood cancer patients. It's many other types as well.
Right.
And we have a number of patient services, from an online Facebook platform to a mentorship program to a lot of different financial programs. The one I want to mention today and highlight is our copay assistance program. So imagine, God forbid, that you or someone you know was diagnosed with cancer today. Every time you have to go see a doctor or an oncologist, you probably have to pay a copay, even if you have decent insurance, right? And that can be like maybe $10 or even like $100 based on your insurance levels. And think about it, you don't just go see the doctor one time for cancer, right? It'll be dozens of times, and that can add up to hundreds, if not thousands of dollars throughout the entire course of treatment. So one of our programs is to help offset that cost. And last year in the state of Virginia, we broke a record and awarded $1.5 million just for copay assistance, right?
Oh, yeah,
So we're not talking about the cost for medicine or the cost for travel. Like if someone lives in Southwest Virginia, they might have to go all the way to VCU here in Richmond for treatment.
Right.
We're just talking about the cost of copays. And if you do the math, I didn't tell you, 303 families received that money. So if you do the math, 1.5 million divided by 303, it's about $5,000 that each family received just for copays.
Wow.
So two things to take away from that. One, cancer is really expensive, right? If $5,000 is how much it is for copay, how much is it for the medicine and the travel and everything else? And the other thing is, families who go through cancer treatment are, I think it's 260% more likely to file for bankruptcy than your average family who does otherwise. So long story short, cancer is really expensive. So that's why your work at the registers is so important for our partnership. And again, we do it because Burlington has an awesome relationship with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and we really appreciate all the hard work that you put into it. I mean, I know that you guys have tons to ask for at the register. You have to ask for phone numbers for returns, and all kinds and surveys, all kinds of things. So we really appreciate it having Light the Night as part of your conversation for the next 12 weeks. This video here is an overview of the campaign for this year.
We're not getting balloons this year.
Oh, I have balloons.
I was ready to say, was that an option to give us something?
We got that.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait. I'm gonna go over there. Oh wait, you can't see it. Sorry.
As of January 2015, Joey is in remission. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society uses a lot of the money to help patients and their families with everything they need as far as transportation and pharmaceuticals and research.
In December of 2012, he went into remission, and we are honored to do this because it helps raise awareness.
Her goal now is to be her doctor.
Gracias a Dios, Gaby está completamente sana. Los doctores nos dijeron que ella está muy bien, tiene 6 años ya.
We participated in our first Light the Night event this past year, 2014. We were one of the top raising families.
Without all this fundraising and, awareness, I don't know where we would be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias San Burlington and Leukemia Lymphoma por ayudarnos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's cute.
Yeah. So, 3 things to take away from that video. One, that was a pretty decent production, right? Pretty decent production, right? So it just goes to show that our partnership's been very long-standing, and there's a lot of effort that's been put in on both ends between Burlington and the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Second thing is, as you saw by the different patients that were highlighted, cancer spares no ethnicity, no language, no age. It really can affect anybody that you know. And the third thing I want to share with you is that oftentimes you might be discouraged and see that this is just a numbers thing, like, oh man, LLS is coming around, we have to fundraise X amount of money to reach our goal. I mean, Tiffany probably has a manager higher above her who has expectations, and it's not always about the number or the spreadsheet. It helps actual people, as you saw in the video, and survivors here in the local Central Virginia area as well. And I'll go a little bit more into that later on, but that's just to give you an idea that what you do really matters, and it's not just about the numbers. And so this was last year's sheet, but this is this year's sheet that starts today. So if you're not familiar, you're just going to ask for a contribution, and then you scan the barcode. Does it prompt you to put in an amount, or is it automatically? Okay, prompt you. Okay. So it doesn't have to be cash. They can just add it to their total, whether it's debit or credit or whatever. And so then you put this into their bag as the bag stuffer.
Yeah.
Now, one tactic that I think would really help is, instead of keeping this behind the register,
Give it to them.
well, give it to them. That's one thing. But leave it on the counter where they, while you ring up their clothes. So that way they have something to look at, because usually they're just wandering or like looking at the screen for the total. They might look at this and start reading about it. So then that way you can make the introduction. Also, since there's pictures on here, you could point to it and say, would you be interested in helping children like him or her for cancer awareness or blood cancers? So that you're putting a face to the campaign, and it's not just an arbitrary fundraising that's going on somewhere, right? A few other tips as to how you can ask your customers. You can phrase it something along the lines of, would you be interested in helping children with cancer? I highlighted children because it's not a lie. We do in fact help a lot of childhood cancers and children with blood cancers. But oftentimes when you appeal to the adolescents, it will tug at their heartstrings and they might be more willing to donate. It's just the nature of it. Now, did you notice how I didn't say, would you like to donate $1? Right? I left it open-ended. Because if I ask Miss V for $1, you might give me $1, right? But you're definitely not going to give me $5 or $10 after I ask you for $1. So don't set a cap on the donation. Leave it open-ended and basically put the ball in their court. So let's try that again. Would you be interested in helping children with cancer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's awesome. How much would you like to contribute? See, now you can say something that you're comfortable with. It might be $1, but it also might be 3, 5, 7, 9, 10.
Okay, I said, how much would you like me to give? Is there a
You're
certain
gonna
amount?
put the ball back in my court?
I had some customers ask me how much, is there a certain amount I have to give?
No, just whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, I put the ball back in your court.
Carmen got $10 when she said whatever to that man is. Well, I said, Carmen, yeah.
$10 from one man?
Yeah. She asked. I said, Carmen, you gotta teach me how to say that.
Did she ask the man, was it in Spanish?
Yeah.
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 And I understand
So
that.
he
Yeah.
understand. Most people don't understand, but I just show him the picture.
Yeah.
Speaking
So-
of, I think it's Spanish.
Just translate it in Spanish.
There's one, and then I was actually having this discussion with Carmen earlier. We're going to talk offline to come up with some Spanish branding if it's not available at my national office.
Oki signs that are in Spanish.
Oh, good.
That you can point to or whatever, so we'll make sure we get that.
Okay, great. Well then, yeah. So another tip is to avoid using the word donate. I have found that oftentimes when you say donate, it automatically builds up a wall because people are hit up so often in stores, online. So you should phrase it a little bit more generally, like would you like to give a hand or would you like to help out? You would be surprised as to how that change of words will really make an impact in getting donations. And then lastly, I probably wouldn't say LLS or Light the Night unless they're regular customers, because the average Joe doesn't know what LLS means. So just talk about the children or the blood cancers. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention was, if you've been here for a few years, you know we used to do icons, right? Where you would write their name on it and then would go on the wall. Well, we don't do that anymore. It's just the bag stuffers, and that's good for you guys because you don't have to tape things up to the wall anymore. But in terms of awareness, it makes it a little bit more challenging. A customer doesn't walk in and see all the pieces of paper on the wall, so they don't necessarily know that we're fundraising. So that's why we ask you all to be our voices and to ask every customer. What are the chances that someone's going to be like, oh, I read in the Richmond Times-Dispatch that the Burlington Midlothian Turnpike is doing an LLS fundraiser. That's never going to happen, right? They're not going to ask you to make the donation. We would love for you to ask them. Okay. And then, since it is a long campaign, you might get tired of phrasing your question the same way. September is actually Blood Cancer Awareness Month. So for the first few weeks here, you can use that as your talking point if you like. Would you be interested in helping out for Blood Cancer Awareness Month here in September? That's another option. Now, if you don't remember anything that I say throughout this entire presentation, just remember one thing, and this slide, is to please ask every single customer, right? The number one reason people give is simply because they are asked. And the worst a customer can say is no, but they won't have an opportunity to say yes unless you ask them, okay? So again, you guys being the voices of the campaign, we really appreciate that. Okay, so now let's look back to last year, and since Miss Tiffany's in the room, she might be able to get some answers for this. Does anyone want to take a guess as to how much you guys raised for us last year?
Last year.
Oh, I won't even hear.
50,000.
What's that?
50,000.
I wish it was 50,000.
Last?
12 weeks.
10,000.
I'm gonna say 10.
All right, you guys brought in
8,000.
I was going to say
$3,500 for us last year. Okay. Now, for perspective,
I'm away.
yeah. 2 years ago, in 2016, you guys brought in $4,400, so it was a little bit more. Remember that last year was pretty challenging. We had Hurricanes Maria and Harvey and California wildfires.
Oh, and you know what happened? The last 4 weeks of the campaign went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it went to
transition to
right.
Puerto Rico.
You paused ours to help Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we were doing. Okay, I remember.
So, what's the name of that tropical storm right now? Florence.
Yeah.
He or she is not going to come. Right? Not allowed to hit mainland United States. So I don't care if it's Virginia or Florida. They're not allowed to come because we're not going to have any hurricanes this year. Okay. Nationwide, there are approximately 600 stores. And anyone want to take a guess as to collectively last year how much money those 600 stores brought in?
5,000.
That's
Well,
more.
we brought in
Okay.
25,000.
No, let's see.
There's
1 million. 5 million.
1 million.
$3.8 million.
Wow.
Now remember, that's one customer at a time. That's not one donor giving you $100,000 at once. It's one customer at a time. So the impact that you guys make here in Central Virginia and then across the country in Hawaii or whatever, it really, truly is incredible. Our partnership is actually 17 years in the making. Burlington started fundraising with LLS since 2001, and take a stab as to how much we've raised in that time.
20?
51 million.
45 million.
Halfway between your two answers. We've done $29 million. But isn't that incredible? It blows my mind. So, what a great history. Yay! All right, so let's look to this year, 2018. The goal for the store this year is $6,000. Okay?
Wow.
Now, does that seem lofty or does it seem achievable?
It's achievable.
Right?
Break it down.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you say so because then my next few slides are going to be easier. I don't have to convince you as hard. All right. So before I get to that, though, other than asking out of the kindness of your own heart, we like to reward you with incentives. You guys just recently collected for backpacks or
Adopt a classroom.
Adopt a classroom. Did you get any rewards for that?
No. We get the reward.
That's why-
We get the reward of seeing the teacher come in and give them that check.
Yes. Well, that is a reward. But we want to try to reward you a little bit more with this campaign. Yes. See, I got your attention. Okay. So me being here today, this is the launch party, right? I'm going to visit you guys 4 more times throughout this 12 weeks, and those sections are called milestones. So milestone 1 is from today until Sunday, September 23rd, so in a couple of weeks.
The day after my birthday.
Day after your birthday.
Let's do it for the teacup.
So we would love it if you raised 25% of your goal by the 23rd. And so that the math equates to $1,500 by September 23rd. And if you guys hit that benchmark, then I'll come back with a donut, bagel, coffee, breakfast party.
Hey, I remember that last year. We did
Yeah.
it last year, so we can repeat that again.
Yeah, right? There's going to be a lot of food incentives. Okay.
I like that. I like
Where's
that.
the bell? Yeah, right here. Milestone 2. All right, milestone 2 is from now until shortly before Halloween, October 28th. It would be awesome if you raised 75% of your goal by that date, which equates to $4,500 based on a $6,000 goal.
Okay.
And that prize is a superhero-themed reverse trick-or-treat party. So that what that means? Well, that means is I'm going to bring in a child survivor dressed up in a Halloween costume. That's a
I
superhero.
thought we need to dress up.
Well, you can dress up too.
Okay, just
But the cool part
But
is
you gonna bring the
the
child.
kid is going to dress up as a superhero and give you candy as a thing.
That's so
So
cute.
this is my favorite. This is my favorite incentive. But it would be really cool if you guys dress up too, because we get some great photos that day.
Okay.
Maybe even
y'all.
we can do this.
I can.
Maybe we can even.
That's how Leukemia doing.
I got $5
Yeah.
for that so far, so y'all
I got 10.
Hey, maybe we can even get NBC 12 down the street to come cover it.
Oh, bring it again.
Ring it again. All right, that's milestone 2. Milestone 3 is from now until shortly before Thanksgiving, November 18th. It would be awesome if you actually hit your goal before the end of the campaign. And so if you get that $6,000 by the 18th of November, I'll come and fill your fridge with whatever you want. Soda, pies, popsicles, candy, whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay.
Ice cream cake.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Pineapples, all the fruit.
I told you there's a lot of food. All right, that's milestone 3. Milestone 4 is if you actually surpass your goal, that would be even more incredible by the end of the campaign. So if you get 110% by December 1st, that's $6,600, and I'll come back with I'm going to call it a fiesta party. Chips, guacamole, sodas.
I'm celery and ranch.
We're gonna feed you good this season. I was in Roanoke yesterday, and there was a pregnant cashier, and she was all about these food incentives.
Protein drinks.
Yeah. That's okay. More for you guys to eat. Then. She probably would. If I come back to her store, she's going to eat everything. I think she was due like right at the end of the campaign. Anyway, so who wants free stuff? All right. So let's get back to the math. Let's make it achievable. $6,000 is your goal, right?
Okay.
Now, let's break it down. It's a 12-week campaign, so 6,000 divided by 12 means each week the store needs to bring in $500. Okay? Now let's go further. $500 per week. Would you say there's at least 10 cashiers on payroll who work the register? Probably more if you count the backup floor associates, right? But let's be conservative and say 10. So 500 divided by 10 means each cashier needs to bring in $50 a week.
Okay, I can do that. I know I can do that. So
Somebody brought in. Yeah.
You're already 5 times. That's $5. That's $10 a day.
Yeah, you said you already brought 5, right? That's already 10%.
I got 10 today.
Okay.
Already.
So, $50 a cashier. I'm being conservative and saying you're only working 3 shifts a week. I know some of you work more, especially full-timers, right? But with this math, each shift, you only need to bring in $16.67 throughout an entire shift. Now, I'm going to be super conservative one more time and say that you only work 5 hours. Wouldn't that be nice if you only worked 5 hours a day?
Right.
$3 work 5 hours a shift.
What's that?
Part-time.
Part-timers do, yeah. But full-timers work more, so they have more opportunity to fundraise. But with this math, $16.67 divided by 5 is each hour is only $3.33 that you need to raise. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. You told me 5. Carmen did 10 earlier. So yes, thank you very much. I think you're losing steam there, Miss Lee. Okay, so $3.33. Now, 2 things. What if you guys doubled that and strove for let's say $7 an hour, right? It's a little bit more, but you said somebody already said you run in 5, right? So if you hit $7 an hour, you guys would more than double your goal. You would bring in over $12,000. Just think how easy that is. Now, the only caveat is that everybody has to be on board and be a team player. Now, I'm only impacting probably like a dozen of you today, and I know there's more folks who work here, so please share my message with all the folks I wasn't able to touch base with today. But as a team effort, right? I like that. But as a team effort, you guys can totally get to that $6,000. I want to have to pay tolls to come from Richmond every time to give you those parties and to go out and shop for you, because that would be awesome. All right? Okay. Can we make our goal? All right. So the last, one more aspect of the campaign, for those who are not familiar, is we have mystery shoppers. Okay. What did I tell you was the number one tip that you should, if you only paid attention to one thing, what was that? What was the number one tip?
Don't ask to donate, but to best way to ask. Help it out.
That is one tip, but that wasn't the number one tip.
Oh.
Miss Tiffany.
Ask
Every
customer.
Right.
It's very easy. Ask every I say it to Tyra all the time. I don't understand why we're not meeting our goals, because I'll be up there for 15 minutes. And when I ask every customer, if I'm up there for 15 minutes, I give $5. Engage with your customer. Ask every customer. It's very
Okay, so if you ask every customer, which you will, hopefully, this will be a breeze, right? So the mystery shopper program is somebody undercover who I employ will come in 4 times during the campaign on those specific weeks, and if when they come through your line, if you ask them to make a donation, they will give you a gift card with $10 in return.
Oh yeah, well look.
So, I'm going to go one step further this year. I don't know if my colleagues across the country are doing this, but instead of just buying random gift cards, I'm going to ask you what you actually want so that you have something to work for. So, the group earlier suggested Starbucks, Chipotle, and Wawa.
No, we want to shop. So, like Target.
Target, is that one?
Yes.
I like to eat, so you can do some soul food or something.
Well, I'm going to buy 4 gift cards, so we got to decide on what 4 to buy.
Oh,
Do two gift cards, food.
Chick-fil-A. I do like that.
All right, I hear a lot of Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Do we want to scratch one of the other ones, or are these for you?
Target down.
Starbucks. Starbucks. You can scratch Starbucks.
Okay, we'll scratch Starbucks.
Somebody gonna be mad about that.
So I've got Chipotle, Wawa, Target, and Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Scratch Target, then we can just do food because Target is high. So how much the gift card gonna be for?
$10.
Okay, no, scratch Target.
They sell food at Target.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah.
They got popcorn and pretzels.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Popcorn.
All right, so we decided that. All right, anyone have questions for me? Okay.
How long have you been doing
I don't know
this?
if you got in there, but I'll wait for you. Go ahead.
Okay. How long have I been doing this? So I've been on staff for 2 years now, but I've been a volunteer with LLS since 2011. So like 7 years. So how I got involved, and that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. I was actually part of a fraternity, a social fraternity at VCU, and our national philanthropy that we fundraised for was LLS.
Right.
So I was the philanthropy chair. I was in charge of getting the guys to volunteer every October for our Light the Night event. So that's
what I was gonna ask about.
yeah. So that's how I established the relationship with the campaign manager at the time, and I actually majored in advertising. So after I was a graphic designer for a couple years, one day randomly on LinkedIn, that manager that I was in contact with asked me if I wanted a job. And I was like, yes, because I didn't have a salary before, and I didn't have benefits before, and now I have pretty awesome benefits. The salary is still nonprofit. But,
That's good.
but yeah, so, yes, thank you very much for that. So I don't have a personal mission connection myself. To blood cancer specifically. My mom is a 18-year breast cancer survivor, and I lost my grandmother to stage 4 brain cancer.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more about that next time.
Too,
Yeah, see, we all have somebody who's been affected. If not in our immediate family, somebody that we know.
Yeah.
So again, that's why the work that you guys do is so awesome. And for our future, and I really think within our lifetimes, we're gonna find a cure for cancer. We're like really on track.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, next slide. Who's this?
Joy Sparks.
See, the last group didn't know.
I love
know
her.
she was.
I like
She
her.
was. Okay, so Jordan has been one of our national spokespersons,
She's had a
so I'm going
baby
to show you
too.
this video that she stars in.
When you or someone you love hears the words, "you have cancer," it's a very dark moment. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night campaign brings light to the darkness of a cancer diagnosis through its mission to fund cancer cares and ensure patients have access to life-saving treatments. I'm joined by 3 young survivors, and I'm honored to partner with LLS's Light the Night campaign in Burlington stores to help raise awareness and save lives of those with blood cancers, just like these amazing kids.
Hope she come
Well,
here.
how can you help? It's easy. Visit any Burlington store nationwide through December 9th and donate at checkout. Over the past 15 years, Burlington has already donated over $29 million to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Together, we can help create a brighter tomorrow. Join us to help save lives. Thank you.
Okay, so you've got the food from the milestone incentives, you've got gift cards from the mystery shoppers, and now you have a celebrity endorsement. I don't know what else I can do to but we really appreciate it.
Ring that bell.
Ring that bell, Miss V. All right.
She still gonna be ringing when we leave out.
So, I think the next slide is just a fancy thing. Okay. So Jordan Sparks mentioned a little bit about our Light the Night event, right? So, Light the Night is in the charity run walk category, but what makes it unique is it starts at nighttime. So here in the Richmond market, from 5 to 7 o'clock it's a festival where you've got selfie stations, food trucks, tents, things like that. And then at 7 o'clock, it's really cool. We have an opening ceremony that I think is a lot like the Olympic opening ceremony. It's super powerful, guest speakers. And then we invite all the survivors to the center of the field. So you saw these lanterns in that video, right? So there's 3 different colors. White is for survivors. Red is for supporters, and gold is for those walking in memory of a loved one that they've lost.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah. So after we invite the survivors to the center of the circle, we illuminate their white lanterns, and there's a giant spotlight called the Beam of Hope that pierces the night sky. And then what's really special is after that, you've got everyone else surrounding them because they're in the center of the field. And then we illuminate the red and the gold lanterns to show how much support the survivors have around them in the community. Here in Richmond, about 2,000 people participate, and after that, we go on about a 1.5-mile walk around Innsbruck, and then come back for final festivities. So it's a really awesome time. You guys, as Burlington associates, should definitely come out to Light the Night.
When is that?
Okay.
It is. It's on this poster here. It's on one of these posters.
We're gonna try to get a group of us together and
Yeah.
the store meet here and go. I mean, last year we didn't, but we should do this year.
Yeah. So it's Saturday, October 13th at Innsbruck. So put in your requests now.
Glen Allen.
What?
Glen Allen.
We'll do it. We'll
Glen
do
Allen.
it.
I drive, so I can go.
Strategically, yes.
Don't put in your request.
Does sports practice help you?
Not really with this.
Okay.
Yeah. But so you see the back of my shirt. How Burlington's on the top. So Burlington is the number 1 national partner of Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and so you guys automatically get what's called Champions for Cures status. So you get access. Champions for Cure access. You get a free T-shirt like this. Usually, folks have to fundraise $100 to get this.
Do we get those to wear to the? Do you get it prior to it or when you?
I can make arrangements to get them to you ahead of
How
time.
about we hit those milestones and then we'll get it?
Yeah, let's do that. So milestone 1. I think milestone 2 happens after the walk. So milestone 1, if you hit the 25%, then we'll give you T-shirts then.
There we go.
Yeah, because I should have them ordered in the office by then.
Okay.
But you get a T-shirt, you get a food ticket, and you get access into our VIP area, which we're doing for you guys here in Richmond. So that gets you extra food. This year, Wawa.
Yeah, I'm going.
Wawa is catering our Richmond market, so they're gonna have like fancy subs and things like that. And definitely invite your friends and family too, not just you guys as associates. I can only offer you 1 shirt and 1 food ticket, but it's definitely a great celebration. Everybody gets a lantern as long as they register. So it's really awesome. I've encouraged the Lynchburg and the Roanoke stores to come out too, even though they're so far away. So hopefully there'll be a great presence of Burlington's here in Central Virginia.
We got an
that
extra
day.
store this year. So.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, and then you guys can brag in the other Burlington store spaces about how much you fundraise, right? Because I'll be like halfway through the campaign.
We're very competitive.
So before I leave, a couple of things. Last year we implemented this and it worked really well. Burlington Cashier Bingo. We're bringing this back. So it's pretty simple. If you get a $1 donation, you exit out. $5, you exit out. Once you get bingo, I'll either leave Miss Tiffany and the staff here some swag, some LLS swag, or you guys can get something on your own if you have the resources to do so. Every time you get bingo. And then, but this is also a great tactic to get donations. So you remember how I suggested you put the pad on the counter?
Yeah.
You can also put the Burlington bingo pad piece of paper on the counter. So if you have like 4 X's and you're trying to get like that $4 mark, you could be like, oh, I'm trying to win before Miss Carmen does. Can you donate $4 for me? Right?
How'd you know Miss Carmen?
So I mean and then people might donate like a higher amount than $1 since it's the last spot that you have to fill. So that's an option. And then I gave some of you guys this. Actually, I don't think I distributed this. I put these in plastic sleeves so you can have them at the registers. So people probably ask, well, where does the money go, or what does LLS do? This has some infographics showing what we do, and on the back is people probably more often ask this is like how much money goes towards the mission. So 77.26%. So almost 78 cents of every dollar goes directly to patient services. So they can be assured that their donation is getting put to good use. I have some stickers for the kids who come through the line. And the last thing I have is this pledge sheet. So it'd be really awesome if we get you to sign this right now. It says, at the register, I pledge to ask every customer to consider adding a contribution for blood cancer patients to enable LLS to help save lives. So the last group already signed it. If you guys sign it too, and then you get the floor associates to sign it as well, Ms. Tiffany or Charles, you send this back to me or just tell me that it's filled out, and I'll come and give you like some cookies or some kind of store prize. Do it again. You're gonna get super fat after our campaign.
It's a highlight.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I would love to know. Wait. Why don't you be dramatic and write it on here?
Oh, I want to be dramatic?
Yeah, be
dramatic.
Wait,
no, hold on.
It's only it's 2:41 on Sunday, so you guys have been open for how many hours so far?
So you're gonna guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna guess. Okay, I'll guess.
Yeah.
How many hours have you been open so far? 5 hours. 5 hours. Okay, so I'm gonna do that math earlier. 5 times. Oh wait, hold on. That's a lot of math. Let's say.
And it's slow on early.
It's slow.
Sundays. Yeah,
how many cashiers have been here?
Well, we started with 1 this morning.
Okay. It trickles in.
Hours. Yeah, it trickles in.
Let's say like.
3 we're gonna say 3 cashiers.
3 cashiers.
Yeah.
Most of our cashiers come at midday.
No, 4.
So this is the least amount of cashiers from 9:30 to noon.
Yeah, we're gonna say 4 cashiers.
Including them all being off the floor.
Let's say $30.
Do you already know what we got?
Yeah.
What is that?
What's that?
Show for the camera. What is that?
$100?
81?
$1.
All right. That's awesome. All right, everybody say goodbye to the video. Bye.